Saturdays in game 2s. And immediately swinging at that first pitch is Kendra Falby, and Florida has a base runner just like that.
Well, Falby, one of the best leadoff hitters in the game. Just so much power and speed.
They're going to score that, an infield single. 60 infield singles for Florida coming into the weekend. And as you reference now, the speed on the bases, they are number 5 in the Power 5 in swipes. They had 5 stolen bases yesterday. Corby Otis at the plate. Outstanding addition, the transfer from Louisville. It's been a big comeback year for the Gators after a disappointing 2023. Their terrific freshmen and their transfers have carried a lot of weight for them. In fact, Otis would be considered one of the front runners for SEC Player of the Year. Fouls that one back towards the press box.
Yeah, you talk about Otis in the 2-hole. She's been outstanding. Look at that batting average, almost 450, 5 home runs. She does a great job with splitting really between Falby and Wallace. All that speed in front of her and behind her.
0-2 from Backus, up and in. Lily is back home in Georgia from Peachtree City. Has done a lot of relief work this year, but likely without Madison Kerpix again in the rotation this weekend. She gets the call, drilled to short. Armistead over to first for the double play.
This ball just tattooed right at Armistead. Really good positioning and knowing the situation, being a little bit up the middle with the speed of Falby. Nice line drive, Falby with that speed off the bag. They turn that double play. That's a huge get, getting that speed off the bases.
Armistead, one of the 6 seniors in the lineup for Georgia. They've got 10 on their roster. Skylar Wallace, the reigning SEC Player of the Year, has swung the bat extremely well in her career against Georgia. Out in front of the changeup from Backus, 0-2. Well, we talked to Tony Baldwin this week, said imperative for our pitching staff to get ahead in counts. We'd love to try and get up on the scoreboard as well. Boost their confidence a bit.
Well, Beth, you mentioned it, those leverage counts. Florida does such a good job of hitting situationally in those leverage counts, and then also taking their walks. 215 base on balls this year for the Gators.
Wallace is starting to come around at the plate, playing some of her best ball in the last month. She was 2 for 3 with a couple of runs batted in last night and scored 3 times. Now playing in her 264th career game. That is the most of any active player in NCAA D1. And a swing and a miss there. Backus gets the strikeout on the off-siders. And Ava out of Montgomery, Texas. In high school, a Texas Player of the Year and a National Player of the Year in a publication. So was her freshman compatriot, Keegan Rothrock. Here are the seniors in the Bulldog lineup looking to make some noise. How about over 4,100 combined plate appearances for this group? And Tony Baldwin talked to us the other day about not only the experience, but their loyalty to each other and their loyalty to the program. They've added a couple of senior transfers, but core 4 or 5 that have been together 4 or 5, and in one case 6 years here wearing the Georgia uni. There's Tony now in his 3rd season, taking over for Sweet Lou Harris-Champer, longtime head coach here for the Dogs.
A lot of stability in that coaching staff. And one of the things that really breeds programs, success in programs.
The one thing that we've noticed, not only here but around the country, Michelle, a lot of seniors and senior classes. There's Sweet Lou. Chances are we'll see the Georgia Dogpile in their super regional win a few years back over Florida before the series is over.
I love that video. Never gets old.
She has moved on to pickleball, from what we're told, and quite good at it. But of course, Tony, her longtime assistant.
The competitive spirit never dies, right?
But when we talk about seniors, you know, there are some real positives, but sometimes there are a lot of distractions that go along with being a senior. And around the country, we've noticed, you know, some groups just have yet to find their rhythm. And it's running out of time for some of them as Brown gets a strikeout of Goodnight.
I showed you with that video that Brown has a lot of ability to stretch the zones. A screwball on the outer half, puts it down at the knees and gets Goodnight. Watching that, she's got a really good spin right again. She's east and west with that curved screwball combination, and one of the keys for her is to stretch the zone, but also miss competitively. It's one of the things that's so important for young pitchers is to have pitches that are competitive around the zone. And that'll induce a little bit more swing and miss.
Chambly to second. Mia Williams is there. Got her 2 down. Mia's another member of this rookie class out of Windermere, Florida. This was a Gator team last year, 8th place in the SEC. Their worst finish. They were unseeded in the NCAA tournament, and then they graduated, or their entire pitching staff was gone. And so a really nice turnaround for Tim Walton here in his 19th season, that from preseason 7th in the poll to now fighting for the top spot as Jada Kearney steps in.
I think there's always the unpredictability of how that freshman class is going to perform, especially when they're pitchers, and both Ava Brown and Keegan Rothrock have just been outstanding in the circle for them. Always a good defense, right? When you know the Gators are always going to be really strong defensively, and that's been a big help for those freshmen. I think the thing that's really made a big difference for Tim Walton this year is the offense.
Yeah. I mean, they're on pace to be the best that they've ever had, which is saying something for the 2-time national champions.
Absolutely.
Kearney, right at Kowalewski, 2 down. The Gators, here's Jocelyn Erickson, the transfer from Oklahoma. Backus gets her to chase.
Backus is that crafty lefty. She has that great curveball she uses away from lefties, but good rise ball as well. It's going to be one of the keys. Just 4 of the 9 are left-handed hitters for Florida, and Florida does a very good job of hitting left-handed pitching.
Yeah, they hit over 400 against lefties. That's best in the league. That'll drift into the crowd. Flirting with a record, I'm told, attendance-wise here this afternoon. For the early morning start. There you go, against lefties. Oof, smoking.
And that's one thing they don't do. They don't chase very much, right? They work you deep into counts.
3rd in the NCAA in walks. They get hit by a lot of pitches. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Backus, one away.
Yeah, and
another change.
Second strikeout with that changeup. Backus is just so good, and she's tough on that lefty-lefty matchup, but the changeup really is going to be the difference maker in the pitch today. She's going to expand the zone with that curveball on both sides of the plate. She can throw it into righties, but that changeup mimics that curveball, that spin rotation, tough to pick up.
Reagan Walsh, who's the DP, will step in. Reagan has reached safely in 16 straight games. And look at the year she's having, a career year for the junior from Redondo Beach.
She's doubled her power, her home runs this year from last year.
Got under that. Digby called off by Kuma, 2 down.
That's a good job by Digby, the freshman over there at first base, to hear Kuma coming up behind her and allow Kuma to take that. Good communication by Georgia on that play.
Kuma, one of those seniors that we saw celebrating pregame, 250th career game today for Sydney. So much
Yes.
expectation. You're thinking about graduation. You're thinking about your future. You're dealing with the media. You have those, is this the last time I'm ever going to do this? Things running through your head. There's a hit batter, Goddard aboard.
Well, and that's the tough part of that senior year, is there's so much transition that is happening, and you start thinking about, this could be my last home series, you know, my last at-bats, and it's tough to emotionally put that in the right spot so you can still perform at the top of your game.
One of the positives, and you hope that you can flip that switch by the postseason, is the database of information that you bring as a 4th or a 5th year. Our old friend Mike Candrea loves to talk about the data that you collect over the years that can be so useful under pressure. Ava Brown with a base runner aboard, one of the freaky Florida stats. Nearly 50% of their free passes score on the season.
Yeah, it's insane, and which is why you've got to win the free pass battle with them.
What was it, 4 of their 9 runs last night,
Yes.
I believe, had walked aboard or were hit to get on base?
They had 8 free passes, so 6 walks, 2 hit batters, and 4 of them scored. Correct.
That's 4, 9, carry the 2, square root. Yeah, that's up nearly 50%.
Good math for a
getting
doctor
better.
of letters. Getting better.
I watched it, A Beautiful Mind on the flight here, so that's
there
got
you
me
go.
thinking very mathematical today, Smitty. Here's the 2-2. That is hit a long way and drifting foul.
And Eva Brown trying to help herself out. We talked about her in the circle, how strong she is, but she's one of those athletes.
Also swings the bat.
Yeah, 9 of her 10 home runs have come on the road this year. It's pretty impressive. Usually you hit more of those home runs in your home field.
She was 1 for 2 yesterday, drove in a run. Checks it, runner goes. The throwdown is behind Goddard. And the first runner in scoring position here for the Gators with 2 outs.
A little bit of a frame by Gordon on that pitch, trying to pick up the strike, doesn't get it. A little bit slow with the throw down. Goddard with the stolen base.
Brown, the swing and the miss, and Backus with 3 strikes. And another wild statistic for these two regular season matchups, Florida has won 63% of the time. Postseason matchups, Georgia has won 63% of the time.
Yeah, Tony Baldwin was like, well, I'll take the postseason.
Of course, for the Gators, 9 times the SEC regular season champions. They're going to need some help. They don't have a head-to-head with Tennessee, as Mosley finds the grass out in left, and the first base runner today for the Dogs.
Mosley, a .308 hitter coming into today's game. That senior leadership. Look at how far she is off the plate, knowing that Brown is going to work that screwball, try to get underneath her hands, steps open, clears those hips, and just drives that ball out onto the green.
Sydney Kuma, grad student out of Fresno, California, was an All-American last year. Numbers down a bit this season. She walked a couple of times last night.
Well, this is where Georgia's going to need to be good today in order to win this game situationally. They were 0 for 8 last night with runners on, 0 for 4 RISP, 0 for 4 with 2 outs. It's all those situational stats that are so important that help you plate runs.
The end. Kuma, fair ball. Mosley wheeling around third. They're going to wave her home. Kuma sliding safely into third, and the Dogs grab the 1-0 lead.
Well, how about Sydney Kuma in a great leveraged count at 2-0, being aggressive, knowing that there's a good chance that Ava Brown is going to come back to that circle. But I think that Tim Walton's going to want to look at this, see if it went off the glove.
In yesterday's game, grad student out of Kennesaw, Georgia, enrolled early out of high school. Couldn't wait to be a Dog. Just like her brother, Justin, former quarterback. Now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. A 3-year starter for Georgia, has already played in a World Series. Wallace climbs the ladder to grab it, 1 down.
It's a really good play by Skylar Wallace. The drop step, go back in that. Get that line drive. She's slightly up in the line because of the runner at third, and no hesitation. Fields sawed off a little bit on that, but really good job by Wallace.
Gordon, the sophomore out of Lexington, South Carolina, was last year's ACC Freshman of the Year, catching at Louisville. Knocked down at first, and they'll be able to apply the tag. Gels takes care of it for the second out.
Oh, and that's a tough play for Kuma if she reads that off the bat, because it is hit right side, opportunity to potentially score. And Georgia being aggressive. 6 of their 7 batters have swung within the first 2 or 3 pitches of the count.
As does Digby, and she pops it up. Georgia does get one home, but they leave it.
Be able to put a lot of runs up on the board for them.
And boy, would it be huge for Florida. We talked earlier, they had to go on the road last year for the NCAA tournament. With so many freshmen and newcomers, what a boost it would be to be able to stay home for a while in the NCAA tournament. They're probably going to get a top 16. Can they play their way into a top 8 through these last couple of weeks and into the SEC tournament? Right now, they're in 3rd place in the league, 2 games behind Tennessee, a game behind Texas A&M in 2nd place. They host the Aggies to end the regular season next weekend. Out to center field, Goodnight drifting over. 1 down. Gators' resume, the strength of schedule, you know, with the non-conference, it wasn't as high as it has been in the past, but they do have 9 wins over top 25 teams. Their RPI is 19. Their KPI is 11. And we'll start to hear more about the new metric that the selection committee can use this year, the KPI. Shallow center coming on. Good night. 2 down.
Well, the KPI is going to be, I think, a very interesting discussion, just because it really dives into your victories, not just at home, but away. You get extra points. I guess good teams.
Who's the opposing pitcher?
Exactly.
Is it the ace?
All those things that make a difference.
Yeah. So KPI is something to keep your eye on. We'll dive into that a little bit more tomorrow. For some teams, the KPI is you're higher than your RPI, like a Florida. And for others, it's a bit lower, like a Florida State or an Alabama.
So we hear that full body of work, I think, is KPI.
We're going to hear that a lot, too.
Full body of work.
Falby right out in front. No chance with her speed. Second time she's aboard with an infield single.
Well, such a good job of reading the defense.
Corby Otis hit it hard, but right at the shortstop, Ellie Armistead, her first time up. Turned into a double play.
Expect to see Falby running at some point, especially with 2 outs.
Corby with the best batting average in the SEC, the second best on-base percentage coming into the weekend. Kendra is 15 of 19 swiping bags this year.
And you can just see the defense for Georgia, the way they're set up. Armistead is up the middle in case Falby does go. Otis being right-handed.
Shot back up the middle, and a nice diving play by Ellie to tag second base. Conference mates. UCLA a winner last night. Armistead fly ball. Chambly. Otis with the catch, 1 down. How about these two? 164th meeting. They've played for the national championship a ton. 20 combined titles and 23 combined Pac-12 titles. And UCLA in first place right now in the league, heading to the Big Ten. Arizona off to the Big 12 next year.
It's just, yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing. I think it was originally, what, Pac-8, then Pac-10, then Pac-12. And now
They're now breaking up.
0.
UCLA in the chase right now on that host bubble to be a top 8 seed in the tournament.
How about their improvement from first weekend to now?
Did they look bad early and now starting to get it together?
Another young pitching staff that just needed some time to develop.
Second base, Williams is there, 2 down. Sydney Chambly grounded to second base her first time up. We will be back here tomorrow for a Game 3, Georgia and Florida. That'll come your way at noon Eastern. Chambly safe at first.
Another great job of reading the defense. Kowalewski, the freshman, at third, playing a little bit deeper. Gels as well at first. You can see this is just a bunt off the defense. That ball coming out a little bit, but the way that Chambly's able to get down the line, puts herself up infield single on the bunt.
It's her first bunt hit of the season. And a base runner now with 2 outs for Jada Kearney. Lined out to third base back in the first inning. Dogs got a run in the second. The RBI triple for Sydney Kuma. It scored Sarah Mosley. Ground ball to Wallace. She'll go to first side. 6-0, Tony, on these SEC Saturdays. What's the difference game 2 for you guys?
Well, I would go ahead and just say it's from the bounce back from not playing very well on Fridays. But I think the matchups sometimes have been a good fit for us. And, you know, I don't know. I wish I had the answer, and we'd use it on Fridays and Sundays, too.
And, Coach, maybe a little bit on Backus and what she's doing well for you in the circle, and maybe not just in today's game, but this season.
Yeah, she's just such a competitor. And, you know, she's mixing her speeds really well. She's going both sides of the plate. She's just got a lot in her arsenal, and you put that with a really good competitor, and you got the makings of a pretty good pitcher.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Awesome.
Yep, thank you. Go Dogs.
Really good change-ups.
Yeah.
What we've seen so far today, 3 strikeouts, all with the change for Lily.
Yeah, and a lot of times she can stretch the zone, but there's two good ones out in left field now. Is that, you know, when you have a pitcher like Backus, she just has the ability to get you thinking about pitches running away from you, and then she bloop, puts in that little 55-mile-an-hour changeup and catches you off balance.
And here's one of the bigger challenges. Not only in a Florida lineup, any lineup, Skylar Wallace. Last year against the Dogs, she hit .857.
Destroyed him.
With 4 home runs in their series win. 2 more hits last night. She also is just 1 stolen base away from tying the school record if she gets aboard here. First time out, she struck out on that changeup,
which she does not do very often. I mean, she is really good at making contact, taking walks.
Yeah, it's just her 12th of the season.
.35 walks on the year, and if you're Walker, it's because those 30 stolen bases.
Look what she pounded the Dogs last year.
Yeah, big time. I mean, just saw what you did there, Beth. Pounded the Dogs.
And she draws the walk.
As we just talked about. We'll see if they put her in motion. I mentioned that they ran freely yesterday, already a stolen base in today's game as well.
Second free pass. Florida unable to get Goddard home after she got hit by a pitch in the second. Erickson, another strikeout victim of the changeup back in the second inning. Gordon is behind the plate today. Lindy Ray Davis is their other catcher. Just get out of play. Opponents 23 for 29 stealing bases on the Dogs this year. .02. Doesn't get her to chase. Hit and run was on there. We're going to find out a lot about the Gators here in the next couple of weeks. An absolutely brutal stretch. 8 straight games against ranked opponents. It's already started with the Florida State loss midweek, then the Georgia win yesterday. They play Florida State again midweek on the road, and then we'll close out with Texas A&M.
Yeah, it'll be a big series for both those clubs. Texas A&M having a really good year.
Trying to win their first SEC title. They are out of conference this week. So at worst, they would finish out their final series a game behind Tennessee. Actually 2 in the loss column. Wallace goes, the throw in the dirt, and Schuyler slides in safely. Second stolen base of the day for Florida.
Picking a good pitch to run on. Throw just a little bit short, and Armistead not able to reach to get Wallace.
Second runner in scoring position here for the Gators today. And the count goes full. Good fight from Erickson.
After being down 0-2. Battling off some changeups and backdoor curveballs.
Gators were 4 for 9 in game one. Risp scored 9 runs on the night. Five different players drove in runs yesterday. And on the 9th pitch of the at-bat, Erickson able to draw the walk. SPN. High fly ball. Kuma called off by Goodnight out in center, 1 down.
Non-productive out for Florida. Reagan Walsh has been so good this year.
A missed opportunity there, and now it's Bailey Goddard who was hit by a pitch in the second. Out of Orange Park, Florida.
Curveball in the inner half. A lot of these right-handed Gators are off the plate, open stance, knowing that Lilibakis likes to throw that curveball into righties, not afraid to.
Out in front.
Just blends those pitches so well together. You can just see that it's so hard to pick up. Spin speed is so impressive on her changeup.
Second time that Goddard is hit by a pitch, and that is 3 free passes this inning to look. 3 strikeouts first time through the lineup for Backus, none the second time through. Infield pop up, 2 down. And a couple of unproductive outs here for Florida.
Yeah, first pitch swinging on both of them. Yeah, and those are situations where you really need to work counts deep, especially after the walk to Wallace, the walk to Erickson.
So now back to a lefty here with Kowalewski, who flew out to center field in the third.
And hit that ball well.
She's got 9 hits in her last 8 games. Out of Richmond, Texas. Just missed the corner, 1-1.
Pitch of the day for Backus really has been that changeup. 6 swing and miss on that pitch already through 3 2/3.
Two and 1. Wallace, Erickson, Goddard aboard. Well struck, on the run is Goodnight, back it goes and gone! Ariel Kowalewski clears them all with a grand slam.
Boy, the freshman coming up big. Kowalewski, her last at-bat drove Goodnight, the center fielder, all the way back to the wall, puts herself in a good situation. Pitch prior, a changeup, she doesn't bite on it. curveball in the outer half. She goes and gets it and just drives that the opposite way. This pitch just pounded, not out of the zone enough, and she sends it out of the field. 7th home run of the year. Picks up RBIs 23, 4, 5, and 6.
Her first grand slam after the bases were loaded with free passes. That is the only hit of the inning, and it scores 4. Here's Mia Williams. Flew out to center in that 3rd inning. That sends a jolt through the Gator fans here in the crowd today.
Beth, you always hear coaches talk about you give up the long ball. It's okay if it's a solo shot. It's what's happening before that ball leaves the yard. And as you mentioned, it's the free passes that come back to haunt them. 4 of 8 scored yesterday.
Mia Williams was trying to sell a hit by pitch, but she had stepped out of the batter's box. And now the umpire
Need to help the pitchers out a little bit.
because too often you're leaning out into the river or in some cases out over home plate. And it's difficult for the umpires sometimes to try and make that clarification.
And we talk about it over and over. If you can't establish the inner half of the plate, you're in trouble.
Ability to laugh at yourself. So important in this game of failure. Kudos to Mia.
That's right.
Stepping back in, full count. Takes it out on the poor softball. Ripped foul.
Mia Williams, another one of those great freshmen, doesn't always get the opportunity to hit a lot, but has been outstanding at second base for them defensively.
Is able to check it, and that is the 4th freebie of the inning, and this to the number 9 hitter to turn over the lineup.
Yeah, those hurt, and this is where we talk about it with Florida. They're just so efficient at getting those free passes in.
5th of the game already, and here's Falby. Couple of infield singles for Kendra.
3 walks in this inning, a hit batter in this inning, and if you can scatter them through 7 innings, you might be able to survive them. But when you have 4 free passes in an inning, it's almost impossible to keep them off the board.
Falby chopped to short. Armistead charges, got her. And what has it meant to the program, this influx of this freshman class as well as the transfers and the impact they've had this year?
Yeah, they've been good. They've done a really good job competing, getting better. The one thing we've really tried to stress is there's going to be bumps in the road. You just got to do a really good job of making sure you support each other, find something good in each person on your team. And these guys they're grinders. They really work hard and they're super competitive, and it's been fun.
And Coach, what about Skylar Wallace? So you have this large freshman class, but you've got such great leadership in Wallace. What does she bring to your program? That's
the one thing about about veteran players is they're constantly having to reinvent themselves, learning how to communicate with different people, learning how to communicate with herself at times. And she's done a really good job. She's meant a lot to our program, obviously, but to all the kids and opportunities they have to play with somebody of that caliber, it's been really fun to watch and really fun to watch cultivate.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thanks, you guys. Go Gators.
Gators trying to get the win today to win the series. They have been the dominant team in the regular season head-to-head with Georgia. As there you see Skylar Wallace She's on the top 50 watch list. She was last year's SEC Player of the Year and a finalist for National Player of the Year honors at a first-team All-American last season.
And with her numbers last year, had the Gators been as a team a little bit better, I think she probably could have been in the front running for that National Player of the Year.
She walked, stole a base, and scored on the grand slam last inning. 4-1 Florida. And now in the bottom of the fourth for the Dogs, it's 4, 5, and 6. Here's Sarah Mosley. Singled and scored Georgia's run in the second on the Kuma RBI triple.
Let's see if Georgia can start to apply some pressure. They've been very aggressive early in the count. Swinging a lot of 0-1 pitches. 3 pitches or less for 11 of their 12.
Dropped at second base, and Mosley is aboard after Williams couldn't hold on.
Well, we just talked about Mia Williams, a freshman, and how good she's been defensively, and that's a ball that she knows. She points at herself and says, hey, that's my bad, I should have had it. This ball struck well, going back up the middle.
Her 6th error of the season.
And that's kind of what Coach said with those freshmen. Answering your question, Beth, is that sometimes there are those inconsistencies.
Here's Kuma as the Dogs try and answer. That's drilled, that's deep, and that's out of here. 2-run homer, Kuma.
Well, it's exactly what the Dogs needed to get back in this game after the grand slam last inning. They respond right away. That 2-run shot by Kuma, that senior leadership, a triple in the first inning, and just attacking this pitch on the outer half. That's a curveball that does not get out of the zone enough, and Kuma does such a good job of having so much power and being able to get around the ball. Just drives that out of the park for her 6th home run of the year.
She is responsible for all 3 Georgia runs, and it's back to a 1-run game, and here's Jaden Fields.
And we talked about it in that second inning when they did score. They left Kuma at third. She was there with no outs and unable to plate her. It's the difference in the game right now, them being down by 1 or being a tie game.
See how Ava Brown responds as well in the circle here for Florida. Freshman already this year has wins over LSU, Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi State.
And Brown has pitched to contact, normally keeps the ball in the yard, just the 8th home run of the year that she's given up.
And the first for Kuma in over a month. She jams Jaden, and the play at third for Kowalewski, 1 down. Approaching the final week of the regular season next week, and then on to championship week. What a feast for softball fans. You got Florida, Georgia this weekend. Next weekend, Bedlam from the brand new Loves Field
That's gonna be
in Norman. We'll have the Saturday and Sunday games for you.
Yeah, and some big matchups to end the SEC season as well. I'm looking forward to that Texas A&M at Florida series. It's going to be a good one.
Fouled out a play by Gordon. Oh, 0-2 pitch coming for Brown. Fly ball out to left. Otis has it. 2 down. Sophomore out of Paris, Kentucky. Right back up the middle. Falby was playing in center field, and that prevents Armistead from rolling around to score. But the Dogs have them on the corners here with 1 out.
Well, and that non-productive out, that pop-up by Goodnight really hurting. You see this ball's just hit really hard, right back up the middle, but Falby doing a good job out in center field, well positioned, in enough knowing that if it's a do or die that she's gonna have a strike thrown home, and it is. But still opportunity here for the Dogs.
So Georgia had a runner on third base back in the 2nd inning with nobody out. They went 0 for 3 and could not get Kuma home. Now they have another runner here on third base, the tying run in the game, and a couple of outs to work with. Gators want to talk pitching strategy and defense here. Kearney lined out to third and grounded out to short.
I think at some point, though, you start to think, all right, do we play our middles back? Kearney being a righty, if you got something hard on the ground, could you turn a double play? So we'll see which approach the Gators decide to take.
Middle of the order here, too, for Georgia, so really no opportunity to work around a batter. Even though Jada does have the best RISP on the team at .395 with 3 home runs. You got the 4-hitter Mosley on deck. Goes the opposite way, back it goes! She's already pointing to the sky as she heads around the bases. 3-run shot.
But we talked about all the offensive categories that Florida leads the SEC, and the one they do not is home runs, and it is Georgia that owns that category. Coming into this game with 70 home runs on the year, they pick up 71 and 72, and this 72nd home run on the outer half, and immediately off the bat, Kearney knows she's going oppo. That ball is just blasted out of the yard. The senior making a great impression here in the senior day weekend.
3 home runs in the series, all by those seniors. And that one, the apogee that they love to talk about here at Georgia. Those 2 signature G's in the gaps on the outfield fence, where they love to hit them.
Well, it's just, you know, textbook the way that Tony Baldwin has these players really work at allowing that ball to travel, keeping that barrel on the inner half of the ball.
Both home runs, right?
Absolutely. Opposite field apogees.
That one is well struck. Back and gone. Back-to-backs at the jack for Georgia. And it's another one from a senior.
Just getting around this pitch. It's a curveball that Mosley just tattoos, gets all into that ball, drives that out of the yard. The senior class just doing such a great job. So much power, so much emotion. 14th home run of the year for Mosley.
And it's the 13th game for the Dogs with 3 or more taters. And they've got 3 here in the last 2 innings.
Well, coming into this game, Ava Brown had only given up 7 home runs all year, 3 here this afternoon.
Not out of trouble yet. Here's Kuma, who hit the 2-run shot her last time up. Florida had a 4-run 4th inning, and now Georgia with a 4-run 5th. Still with just the 1 out.
Just third time through the lineup, productive for Georgia, knowing what they're hunting.
Out in the Gator bullpen, Mackenzie Wooten. Foul ball.
JT D'Amico, the first base coach, getting a little bit of advice. Cummins, she walks her back.
And that hits Kuma. And does Florida make a move here?
I think there's probably that discussion.
There's Tim Walton coming out.
First-year pitching coach Chelsea Dobbins actually came out to talk to Brown, and now it's Walton making the change.
Pitching change here for the Gators as they have fallen behind 7-4. Jada Kearney, Sarah Mosley, back-to-back home runs. And while Wooten takes her warm-up pitches, we'll take a quick break. Tenth relief appearance of the season for Mackenzie Wooten, the grad transfer from UVA.
She's a professional student. She's becoming a physical therapist, so coach talks about the fact that she's been extremely busy with school this year. 8th appearance, just a little over 11 innings pitched.
Brown bows out after 4 1/3, 8 hits, 6 earned runs. Kuma down to second base. She got a board on a hit by pitch. 4 hits in the inning for Georgia, 2 of them left the yard. And now Fields rips one down the line, and that's out of here. The senior celebration continues for the Dogs.
And this is always the potential of this Bulldog lineup. You know it. When you come into this stadium, the ball flies out of the park really well here because there's so much power. And Justin Fields loving seeing what his sister's doing, knocking that ball out of the yard. This pitch low and inside, and it is just mashed. Look at that swing, barrels it up quick and short to the ball. Quick and short follow through, that ball hooking, but it is a no-doubter off the bat yet again. 4th home run of the game, all in the last 2 innings.
Boy, and what a weekend for Jaden, who's really been struggling in SEC play, and now back-to-back nights with home runs. Held to 1 run yesterday, and now blowing up here this afternoon. And what a greeting for Wooten coming on in relief, and a blast from Fields.
Wooten, again, not a lot of opportunities. And this is a situation where Florida really has used their 2 arms effectively with Ava Brown and Rothrock. I mean, those 2 have been their main pitchers, game 1, 2, 3. Olivia Miller at times has gotten some opportunities.
Right back up the middle. Base knock for Gordon. Sixth hit of the inning for the Dogs, and Emily Digby will be the 9th to the plate. And now a pinch hitter coming on. Looks like Lindy Ray Davis.
5 of those 6 hits this inning. Extra bases, a double and 3 home runs. Whew.
Jada Kearney, the 3-run shot. Sarah Mosley, solo. Jaden Fields, solo. Dogs are barking here in the 6-run 5th inning. And another change here for the Gators. The starting pitcher, Ava Brown, looks like she's going out to first base. And we'll see who comes on to pitch.
Looks like it might be Olivia Miller.
It is Miller. And we'll be back in a moment. So Mackenzie Wooten comes on in relief and faces 2 batters, gives up a couple of hits, and it's a quick hook to Olivia Miller now, coming on to face the 9th batter of the inning, the pinch hitter Lindy Ray Davis. It's the 13th relief appearance for Miller.
Well, Miller, freshman as well, lefty, very spinny. More velocity than what they just saw with Wooten. Talk about 3 good pitchers for the Gators, all freshmen, and the transfer Wooten.
Down in the dirt, scooted away from Erickson, so Gordon will head over to second. Lindy Ray has been catcher, been DH this year. She is way in the back of the box. Junior out of Calhoun, Georgia. 0 for 1 with a walk yesterday. Covering the chalk. It's only her 3rd pinch hit opportunity of the season. One of those was a home run against Oklahoma State. Tony Baldwin thinking pinch runner here, possibly? Yep. Haley Eaton. Gordon can re-enter. Three and one. Miller out of Orlando does have 2 no-hitters already on the resume from earlier this year. Comes in for the strike, full count. Georgia led this thing 1-0, then Florida on a grand slam took a 4-1 lead. Davis, can she add to the tally? That one will stay in the house. 2 down. 4-3, Gators through 4, and now this 6-run explosion for the Dogs. 3 home runs in the inning. They have batted around. It all started with a leadoff double for Ellie Armistead, and here she comes again.
Yeah, and that was big in that 9-hole, down by a run. You could just kind of feel the energy start to switch.
Opposite way, and that will drop in fair, and a run will score.
And that's why putting that pinch runner in was such a big deal. Tony Baldwin going to the bench, putting the pinch runner in. Eaton with that speed with 2 outs. That is a flare to right field, but with 2 outs, you get that run to punch across, and that's big. These are the little things that make a big difference in a game. That's a rise ball, a little bit of a jam job by Armistead, but she's going to battle it off, fight it off, gets it out onto the green and right field, and again, with those 2 outs, the pinch runner Eaton is going to be able to score from second base.
Ten floor for Georgia, and how quickly this all turned around, and now the Dogs are in run rule territory if they can tag on 2 more. So that winning run is at the plate now for the Dogs here in the bottom of the 5th. After Florida run ruled them last night, Georgia trying to counter.
And that's a big thing, because last night Rothrock just had to throw 87 pitches in those 5 innings. And Georgia would like to do that and return the favor.
Michigan run ruled them. And then Florida State got them earlier this week. Goodnight popped up her first time up this inning. Laces that one out to center, and Falby with outstanding coverage gets the 3rd out. Big 12 championships, they are 1 game in front of Texas, 2 in front of Oklahoma State.
It's going to be a big series. A lot of energy going to be in Love's Field.
Oh, from that new stadium. Can't wait to see that for the first time. There's a look at those Big 12 standings. Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State, all likely to be not only hosting regionals, but likely top 8 seeds. We'll see what happens with Oklahoma State down the stretch. RPI has them at 13. The KPI has them at 6.
Yeah. Really different. That's one of the teams that's pretty much turned around. And I think that's because the two of the losses of their 5, I think, in conference are the fact that they were to Iowa State, which really hurt them.
If you have a bad loss, that's an RPI lower than 100, then that's also something the committee considers. They have one, Duke has one, A&M and Florida State both have one. All kinds of questions for the selection committee to consider as Goddard strikes out, 1 down. So things to ponder for the selection committee leading up to the selection show. How high does Florida State go? They're playing really hot softball right now. Not a ton of games against top 25 teams. What do you do with Texas State? Some think they should be hosting. I'd hate to see them on the road come to my town with that pitching staff. How do you weigh the SEC? They're so competitive in conference, but they have a ton of good non-conference wins. You know, a team like LSU, for example. And then, as of right now, only 2 hosts on the West Coast, UCLA and Stanford. Maybe Washington gets one.
Yeah, maybe Washington. But then, a lot of times it comes down to finances, right?
Geography plays a role.
Exactly. So how many teams do you send to locations where they can bus versus fly? And then also it's become a ticket issue as well. How many seats? What's the revenue?
That is hammered. And that is gone. Ava Brown gets one back.
Well, Ava Brown gave up those home runs in the 5th, and she says, hey, I can knock it out of the park as well. The freshman has been outstanding. A little bit of a struggle in the circle for her today, but that is her 11th home run of the year. Ava Brown is just a great two-way player. You can see a little bit of that front leg, really good trigger, great barrel to ball. And again, 10 of her 11 home runs on the road.
Second of the game for the Gators. Cuts the deficit to 5. The other home run hitter is now up. Kowaleski, who had the grand slam in the 4th when Florida was briefly in front. Three-0 count to Ariel. Down in the middle. Sun trying to peek out here in Athens. And 3-2.
She swung the ball well today against Bacchus, even with that lefty-lefty matchup.
Draws the walk. Got the, what is it, the Athens Criterion? The big
That's
bike
right.
races going on in town
The big crit.
here this weekend. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, great time of year. Emily Wilkie is the pinch hitter here in the 9 spot in the order. At the knees. Lily Bacchus, 5 Florida runs on 5 hits. Lily with 3 strikeouts, all of those coming the first time through the batting order. Now 1-2.
If you take away that 4th inning with the grand slam and the free passes, Bacchus has been pretty good, but really it's been the 2 hit batters, the 4 walks today.
It's been Kendra Falby, the on-deck hitter. She's got 2 of their 5 hits today. The free passes turned a solo home run into a grand slam. We'll try for 2 here, and an errant throw over to first. They get the lead runner with the 2nd out. And 4th strikeout for Bacchus coming earlier this inning. And, is that a pinch runner? They go back to the starter there to re-enter.
Yeah, Mia Williams back in.
Top of the order. Falby with a couple of infield singles and then a ground out in the 4th. Left and left center. The beautiful new facility they are building here with new team room facilities, batting cages, an indoor infield. Cheer. Got a nice little patio out there If you're lucky enough to get the invite with some of the Georgia alums.
This is just a great stadium, too, because it's very loud. It's elevated, so the sound really carries back.
Huge turnout here on a what started on a Saturday morning, now into the afternoon. Likely site for a regional. Falby smacks that the opposite way, and on the run is Goodwin. Off the bats of Bulldog seniors, including Kearney and Mosley going back-to-back in that 5th inning, and then one batter later, Jaden Fields adding a solo swat.
And Beth, how fitting is it that both of Florida's home runs are by their freshmen?
Beth Bowens and Michelle Smith with you. Big Saturday of softball on the ESPN networks. Got some baseball for you as well. They're going to be starting over on ESPNU as we run into the top of the hour here. In the bottom of the 6th inning, one more at bat for the Gators in the 7th, unless Georgia scores 3 runs here to end it early. And with one down, here comes the home run hitters.
Barrels it up and sends it out for her 16th home run.
What a snag by Brown at first to rob extra bases. 2 down.
Ava Brown, one of those fabulous freshmen for Florida that we talked about. Started the game in the circle, hit herself a home run, and then says, hey, I can play first base too.
Here's a fun stat of the day. We have witnessed a home run cycle this afternoon.
Yes, we have.
Solo, 2-run, 3-run, salami. It's nice little Saturday.
It has been a good Saturday. Oh,
and we're not done yet. Mosley onto the roof.
that is Mosley's 14th home run of the year. And Beth, when we talk about the seniors in that 5th inning, so much power. Check that, this is the 16th home run. So this pitch, again, she goes yard on a pitch that she can just get around. So much power for Mosley. Another solo shot that she hits off the roof.
They better get some shatterproof glass out there in the new facility. It's within range.
Wow.
Second of the day for Sarah. And now Kuma has reached all 3 times she's come up. She's driven in 3 today. As the softballs sit, is that up on the roofing out there? Is it too soon to dub that the Mosley Perch? Kuma the opposite way, and on the run to make the catch is Katie Kistler. Side retired. Another home run ball, 11-5 Georgia. Last chance coming up for Florida. Of course, the rubber match tomorrow at noon Eastern. 2-3-4, so Lily Backus still has to deal with the heart of the order. Here's Corby Otis. She wants to hit it anywhere but in the direction of Ellie Armstead, who has robbed her of a couple of hits today. The shortstop with some good glove work.
Ellie Armstead, one of those seniors starting today. Hasn't been in the home run picture, but boy, she's been a great glove at shortstop all these years for Georgia. And she's actually doing a great job in the 9-hole. She had that double that started things in the 5th inning, and then that base hit as well, still in the 5th inning to get an RBI.
Well, we saw in game 1 how problematic Florida's offense can be, creating chaos on the base paths. You have to keep them off the bases or they're going to be trouble in the tournament. And now Georgia today with the power, if these seniors find that sense of urgency in their swings, it's going to be a tough out in the NCAAs.
Well, that'll be the key for tomorrow's game for the pitching staff of Georgia, is limiting the free passes. 6 of them so far in this game. Back us behind here to Otis.
Deep fly ball, that's back towards the wall, and that's out of here. Corby Otis goes deep. 3rd long ball of the day for Florida.
And that's her 6th home run of the year and a leveraged 3-1 count. And that's really the key, is that this Florida team leads statistically in almost every category in the SEC except for home runs, but they still have a ton of power. This pitch on the inner half, a 3-1 count. Otis has just been such a huge pickup for the Gators, drives this solo shot out of the yard.
That's not the oppo G, that's the pull G right
That's
there.
right. Pitch on the inner half, blasted.
2 freshman home runs and now the transfer home run from Otis. And here comes Skylar Wallace. Oh for 2 with a walk. Lifts that out to center. Good night. 1 down. Well, we talked about Corby Otis and her SEC Player of the Year potential. Here's another one for the Gators in Jocelyn Erickson. A walk and a single today. She scored once. 5th in the country in runs batted in this year.
Yeah, she's been outstanding, transferring over from Oklahoma. Knew she probably wouldn't get a ton of time behind the dish with Kinsey Hansen being behind the dish for Oklahoma. She has just been great. Left-handed catcher, and this is so good behind the plate. So good offensively.
Smooth transition into this Tim Walton offensive scheme. He said no matter what, it starts with be good at what you're good at. Know your strengths, focus on those first when you step into the batter's box, and then create a routine and stick to your plan. And then the last thing is understanding the strike zone. Yours, the pitchers, and the umpires.
And it was interesting because both coaches talked about that.
Yep. Full count.
And talking about that, about their offense, understanding, right? Because pitchers, that's what we do, right? We upset timing. We try to disrupt that balance and timing of the hitter. And as hitters, if you're chasing, it's tough to hit.
Pounds that one into the ground. To second, Kuma, 2 down.
This is a great game for Georgia. This is a good bounce back. They end up winning this game, especially after being hit hard yesterday, down 4-1 in this game. That senior leadership coming back, driving those home runs out.
Doing it their way, right? Their power.
Absolutely.
Home runs today from Kearney, Kuma, Fields. 2 home runs for Mosley. And last chance for Florida is Reagan Walsh. Backus trying to secure the complete game win. And what a job by her stepping into a starting role with the illness of Madison Kerpix for the second weekend in a row. Adjusting on the fly from her role more as a reliever prior. And now down to one more strike. Looking for her team-leading 15th win of the year. Her 128th pitch of the day. Popped up, and Florida still alive. Base hit for Walsh. And then she'll pass the bat to Bailey Goddard, who has been hit by pitches twice today. Alyssa Hovermail is going to step in here as the pinch hitter. Four for 15 on the season for Alyssa. One on with 2 outs. Takes a look at a strike.
Change up, first pitch strike. It's a big pitch.
First at-bat since April 13th. Has a couple of hits this year as a pinch hitter. Three and one.
Change up a little high. You could hear the crowd grimacing a little bit.
Pops it up. Kuma on the grass. Ball game.